This is the Evolpow P3 Alpha. It was sent to me by Evolpow a little while ago. It's been a project that's been sitting on the back burner, unfortunately, because when the boxes showed up, they were damaged. I don't know, FedEx really loves to just thrash stuff. So it was missing the hardware, so all the bolts, I had to wait for the bolts. I finally got the bolts. Unfortunately, when the bolts were sent to me, I didn't have enough, so I couldn't finish building everything. Turns out, this is actually the old power rack, the old P3 Alpha, and they have an updated version. So I've been working with a manufacturer. They're actually sending me the whole new updated version, and I'm really excited to be able to put that together. But going back to my space here, I got zero space, man. So unfortunately, I've got to tear this thing down, do something with it. One of my buddies is going to take it off my hands, and hopefully I'll be able to help him fix it and be able to utilize it as it was intended to with the missing parts. But I got to make space in order to go over the new P3 Alpha by Evolpow. So let's break this bad boy down.
Well, here you go, Jimmy. I'm breaking this thing down for you. Gonna get it over to your house, but let's get into Evolpow.
All right, so the other P3 Alpha, the old one, is gone. We had a lot of problems with the shipping with that one. But who is Evolpow? Let's get into this website. Let's check them out. They've got a bunch of deals going on because obviously the holiday season plus New Year's resolutions. You can probably get yourself a really good deal on one of these power racks or Smith machines. What they offer are power rack Smith machines, bars, weights, benches, everything you can think of to go ahead and build your home gym setup. The P3 Alpha that they sent me has now been updated. They ended up sending me a new one because it was missing a bunch of parts and pieces from the damage of the shipment. And I got to say, they sent it fast. It showed up very fast. So that's something you want to consider. So the P3 Alpha tank is what we're going to be going over in this video. Right now, it's going for $649. Now, that is just the P3 Alpha. No weights, no barbell, no benches, nothing like that. But what you're getting is a very good, not commercial grade, but very good piece of workout equipment if you are thinking about getting into this. So I never heard of Evolpow. They sent me the equipment. I'm telling you my honest thoughts, and based on other things that I've dealt with and other workout things that I've purchased in the past in other companies. So let's get into the construction and let's talk about more what the P3 Alpha tank has to offer.
So you can see that they totally updated the boxes. These showed up totally intact, so everything is good to go. Really happy they did that. Make sure you have a lot of space to assemble this thing, because you're going to see here as I'm unboxing it, it takes a lot to get all this stuff out organized so you can get your build process going ASAP. One more thing, these boxes are pretty heavy, so if you need help, ask for help. I'm just a knucklehead and I never do.
Okay, here's all the parts for the new and improved P3 Alpha. Super excited about these. They've added a little bit of a rim right there on the side. They've also improved, these are the pulley system. Obviously, you can see there's the knob, but you can see that little lip and rib. It looks like they've improved them. They got a little EP right there for their logo. These are no longer just these straight metal bars. This will actually go into there with a little bit of a plastic lip. Help protect your Olympic bar. See, the J hooks look like they've been improved as well. That looks like it's pretty good 11 or 12 gauge steel. And you can see they added the little plastic bumps right there, so that's good. There's the landmine. They've improved definitely from the last one. These handles, they're knurled and they're a little bit shorter for the D-ring handles, which is great. I'm not sure, I can't find any actual D-rings. If they added D-rings somewhere, I'll take a look. There's real D-rings in there as opposed to those spinny ones. So that's cool. They've, here's the dip bar attachments. They've added some pretty cool handles in there. It's definitely an improvement from the last one. Looks like this may be either a rope strap or you could maybe hopefully put a TRX on your power cage. That would be badass. So I'm gonna see, there's the instructions. I'm gonna get into building and we're gonna start looking at all this cool stuff. These are definitely gonna be for your bands if you wanna put them on the Olympic bar when you're doing your exercises. But here's generally everything. These are most likely 14 gauge steel, but I'm lucky enough they sent me the red one, so I got a nice little pop of color in my home gym garage. And you can see this is what the footprint it's going to take. So I got very limited space, but let's get into building this thing. One thing to note, this does not come with any type of tools, so you're going to need your own tools. So if you got a friend that could come help you build this thing and you guys get along quite well, that's going to be an added plus, because the instructions are very frustrating. They're not clear, and you'll see here in a second what I mean. So the instructions don't clearly explain this, but you're going to see that post that I just put the pulley lever system on there. There's supposed to be holes on the inside, which I ended up putting this thing on backwards, which was a real pain in the butt. I had to take that off and flip it back around because, man, it's just like I said before, unfortunately instructions are just not that clear. See, I figured it out, and now what I'm doing is I'm pulling it off and realizing, oh, I've got to go back to the beginning, because now I know that that pulley goes on that side, because you want those little adjustments on the inside, so while you're working out, you can use them. So you can see here now what I'm doing is I'm flipping that post around to get those holes on the correct side. So for the cost savings of this product, I guess they skimped on giving you really clear instructions. I don't know. So if you do get to this point, this is how it's supposed to look, just for clarity's sake, because it took me an extra, I think, about 30 minutes to do that. Consider yourself lucky if you get the new P3 Alpha updated tank, because these top brackets are way easier to put on. The old one, I smacked my head a few times. Getting a little bit further in the build process, so improvements are, some of these are attached, which is great, and this, like I already talked about this side was already attached, I had to add that. You do have to build the pulley system on your own. I don't know, I'm a little leery of this though. I don't know how that's gonna work, so we'll see. And you can see on this side too, there's nothing to really, hopefully they just stay nice and taut. But now, I gotta put the crossbar here, which is this nice, beautiful, looks like branded. So you can see it's totally different from the old P3 Alpha. Good deal. So one thing here is, yeah, I'm getting the cool logo thing put up, but pay attention to this part for the pulley system. I don't know if all of them come this way, but there was a discrepancy in how this thing was machined. Check it out. So one thing I came across when I'm building one of these things, let's see if I can get this. But you can see that this doesn't fit that well, and I got to get this inside of there so that I can have a pulley system for this. So it looks like the machining's a little bit off, which is kind of frustrating. So what I'm gonna do is just try to sand down. There's a way I can maybe, so I gotta do this 4 more times throughout the whole thing here. And oh man, a little frustrating. Kind of slows you down when you're building. Now I gotta do this a little bit more because it's still not fitting. So there we go. Got one in. Just gotta repeat it 4 more times now. So definitely frustrating if you don't have the tools all the way through and in. There, a washer, and a nut. Whew. I gotta make that happen now. So, after I blasted myself out with a ton of dust because that sander, the orbital sander, I completely forgot to clean it out. That was a wake up. It did work. It allowed me to shave down just enough plastic on the pulleys in order to make them fit in the 2 center spots there. So, it really wasn't a big deal. It's just, I guess this is what you get when something's this cheap. It looks like it's pretty much put together minus the pulley system here. So I got this installed here. All right, so I don't know how this is gonna work. These are a little loose, so I don't know, trusting in it. There's been improvements, but then there's also been some downgrades. So these were already put together on the last P3 Alpha. You didn't have to worry about putting these things together. They did sturdy up this. They added some knurling to the pull-up bar here. Overall, this thing shakes a lot less than the last one, so that's pretty good. So I'm gonna get into the pulley system. Hopefully it works. So here's these 2 chrome style bars. Those go on the bottom and on the top, and what you do is you put the Olympic weight holder on top. It can be a little frustrating and cumbersome to get in there. It's attached by 2 bolts that come with the setup there, but you'll figure it out. It's not that bad. I did that all by myself. Tighten those down, and now it's time to run the cables. Interesting. So essentially, I've got the whole base structure put together. So I just need to run the pulley system. And anyway, I think the red looks pretty cool. This looks like 14 gauge steel. They've had some improvements by putting number markings in there. Let's see here. The way this is set up, this is actually welded to this cross beam now, so you get a little bit more security. And then I'm excited to get this thing going. So I just really hope, man, these pulleys are gonna work. So I'm starting to run the pulley system, and you can see that I've got to build the dual pulley right here and put that in. And as soon as that's done, this thing should be ready to go. All right, so pulley system. Gotta build these things. I already ran the main pulley, so a lot of different adjustments now, like holes here. So I'm gonna have to see how they fit. The instructions really don't explain a lot of that. So seeing how this all works, there's a number of different adjustments as far as the holes and the styles where you want to put them. But until I get to that point, this down through here. There. So there's a general idea of the pulley. This is not tightened yet. This is how it goes, and it runs through, comes up along here. There's three adjustment holes there, and then you've got the 5 here. So I still have to do this side. So I recommend when you run it, that way you can see how it goes, so you can have it available to you. Just don't put the pulleys together yet, because you got to run them through and together like that. All right, little word to the wise. You're gonna see in the previous shot, do not wrap this around, wrap it around here. I had to pull this apart, push this forward, and pull this back so this is free. And now I can attach that pulley, all right? It's something to think about. Totally goofed that up, imagine that. All right, I've got the pulley system all together. You can see, here we go, it's running. I'm gonna put some super lube on those poles over there. Pulley system needs to be tightened, but I just wanna show this. So I put it at the lowest here, so therefore I can get as much slack. What my suspicion is, I rechanged this. I didn't listen to the instructions. I put it on furthest one out. But you can see I got a little chrome showing there. So what my suspicion is that when I get weights on this thing, it may stretch out the cables a little bit. Therefore, I may have to adjust them a little bit later on, but I'm pretty sure all I'm gonna have to do is right here. So I don't know how yours is gonna come and how it's gonna show up, but just take note of these adjustments, and then later on when you start using weight and you put weight on there, these cables will stretch a little bit. So therefore you may have to come back and adjust them, so that way you don't have that slack and you feel like a real weird pull when you're working out. One of the great things about this P3 Alpha, it comes with a ton of plate storage, and that's what I'm doing here. I'm installing those, and you can have them either way. They could be standard weights with a really small hole, or you could put the sleeve over there, which they will accommodate the Olympic weights. So there's 6 pegs. That's a lot. So this is me for the first time using this thing. It's almost 100% put together. I think I put about 30 pounds between those. Those are 2 15-pound gray Evolpow plates right there. They're bumper plates. And it feels like it's a 2-to-1 pull. So basically what's happening is I think I'm getting a total of about maybe 15 pounds, because you can see it's only one side that's moving. So I'm kind of experimenting to see how the pulley system feels. It's not that bad. It's definitely not as smooth as my Inspire SF3, but once again, you know, there's a different price points between the two different machines. This one is well under $1,000, and the SF3 is way up around $2,500. So there is a difference. However, if you're looking for a budget power cage with a pulley system option in there to do some functional training, this is definitely gonna suit those needs. Plus, the cool thing about with power cages is you have the option to add a lot of power reps in there. Something to think about. So what I'm doing here is I'm gonna experiment with the row, and I just took the 2 D handles and I attached them to one D handle there, and you can see I'm getting a really good, nice, deep pull, and I'm kind of just going real quick with it to see how it feels. And I'm sure if I added more weight in there, it would be giving me a real good quality workout. So one thing I've learned, guys, you can see I've got bare garage floor. Go ahead and buy you some rolls of rubber mats, or get some horse mats, or put them down, make your garage space look nice, and then that way you don't have to worry about possibly damaging the concrete to your floor. But you can see I'm using here, this attachment came with it.
and I'm starting to experiment by getting some really nice wide grip rows in, and I'm actually pretty happy with the way the thing turned out. For the costs, I keep harping on it, you're probably not going to find anything better for the price point. But the give and take is there are going to be some issues with the instructions. I did have to break out some sandpaper for the pulley system. So these are things you're going to have to keep in mind. Now I'm going ahead, man. I want to get in there. I believe I'm adding my 25-pound weights on each side here. The one thing about adding plate weights is it does take time. It's not as quick as your normal functional trainer where there's just a pin that you pull in and out to change the weights. So you got to plan your workouts accordingly. Those are things that I want you to think about. This specific machine does take up a pretty good amount of space, but if you're a CrossFitter or if you're someone into powerlifting, this will work fine for you. Plus, you'll probably be able to build up and maybe sell it down the road and get into something that you want that's even higher quality. I don't know. It's kind of up to your imagination. So I added this in so you guys can hear what it sounds like when the pulley system's engaged and things are moving around. So there you go. I'm gonna add some super lube to this. Hopefully it'll get that noise down, make it a little bit smoother. All right, so I'm just demonstrating some quick workouts in here. I'm testing out the knurling and the pull-ups, and also this is not for technique. It feels really good on the hands. I'm happy that they're there. I sweat a lot, so that's gonna help for my grip. I switch around here and I'm just trying to do some knee ups. I'm working on my dad bod gut. That's going to be a minute, especially with the holidays coming through. Just stay tuned and you'll see me get skinnier as I start reviewing more workout products. This is probably the best part of the whole thing. I love the dip system here, the attachments. You can put them on either side, the front or the rear, so you can kind of want to, if you want to switch between them after you're doing squats, whatever you want to do, you can do that. And you can set them up. They're very stable. Plus the new handles are super nice. Once again, no technique here, all right? But just kind of demonstrating. So the next thing is I'm getting set up here for some safety. I'm putting the safety things, trying to figure out really nice quick reference so I can do some squats with my Olympic bar. Those are only 35-pound bumper plates. So I'm just taking it easy, figuring out where to go. Once again, not technique, just a quick show. Seeing how much space and you can move around on the inside of the rack there and have some safety set up around you. There are some really good added features to the P3 Alpha itself. It does come with a landmine attachment, but as you can see, my garage has got limited space as it is. So the availability for me being able to use a landmine may not exactly be ideal. So I was thinking about changing the configuration of probably pointing my P3 Alpha opening north-south with the garage. However, the only problem is you can see that when you do that, you need a significant amount of space for an Olympic barbell that's 7 foot in order to move it around. So I would actually be taking up more space if I did that. Plus, with the other equipment that I have, unfortunately, I don't have a bigger space yet. So therefore, I've got to work with what we got. But you do get a very standard Olympic landmine setup. And where it connects is going to be on the front right part of where your setup will be, but however, I need the space there to be able to go in and out when it comes to my hack squat machine. So, other things that the P3 Alpha does come with is the actual landmine attachment itself that goes onto the barbell. Plus, it does also come with a pretty decent upgraded version, especially with the handles for a straight bar. For anything you're going to do, just take note that these are a cheaper version. They do not have any ball bearings when it comes to being able to rotate and move things around. So if you're doing specific exercises, in a way, you could be adding a bunch of grip and wrist strength, but at the same time, if you're looking for any type of flexible movements that need those ball bearings, you're probably going to have to upgrade on your attachments, because this one definitely does not do that. But that is to be expected with the price point. All right, see if we get some dimensions going. So all the way, I'm gonna go
go all the way back to the end of my garage. And realistically, you're gonna need a good 84 inches of length space and width space because of your Olympic bar. You can see I got everything kind of compact in here. I got my hack squat on caster so I can move it around, but you're gonna need at least almost, I would say, 8 feet all the way across, so that way you have plenty of work to do your workouts. Plus the other thing is too, access to your weights that you're storing. You want to make sure that you have a pretty good amount of space. So another thing is, don't do what I'm doing. Don't leave your bare garage floor open like mine. Buy some rubber mats, and then that way you can protect the concrete, the foundation of your house, in case you do drop your weights, because you can see that gouge right there. I've already done that, and that's not good. So just learn from my mistakes. It does come with this hook, so you can add that there. Maybe you put your TRX strap there. I'm not 100% sure on that, but you can see that the hole availability, it's also available over here on your left-hand side. So the one thing that is a little bit different, there is only a hole here for your landmine on the right side, and then for your kick plate right here, it's on the left side. I'm sure if you're a metalworking genius, you can figure out how to swap those two utilizing a welder. That's totally up to you, and I'm just letting you know how it comes out of the box. Well, as you can see, it's pretty aesthetically pleasing to the eye. I really love how I can get all my bumper plates off the floor now, and I've got somewhere to put them. As I've got a huge conglomeration of them in different sizes. So the pulley system has been improved. All the accessories, the handles for the accessories are definitely better. The knurling on the pull-up area is amazing. Plus the numbers that you can see on the uprights just make it that much quicker for you to be able to figure out where your settings are. And you can see that the kick plate there actually folds flat, so you won't trip on it as you're walking by it. The J hooks, everything just is actually been pretty well thought out. The pulley systems themselves to adjust, it's all one-handed. I'm just doing that single-handed right there while I'm holding the camera. Very, very well thought out. One thing that's not very well thought out, and I'm going to be honest, is the instructions, but hopefully this helped you. You've got that ring there for a rope system. It does come with a landmine. I do not have the landmine set up just because I do not have the space in my garage. But you've got a full power cage ready to rock, Olympic style, and I'm definitely going to be using that dip system a lot, and it's very, very comfortable on my hands. So another thing too is this laser etching for the metal in the logo and how they welded it. It really secures the whole power cage very well. It's a lot more sturdy than the last version. So. And plus, I think it's cheaper. Well, thanks guys getting this far to the video. If you liked what you saw, give me a thumbs up, shoot me a subscription, ask me some questions in the comments below if you want to know anything more about this specific piece of equipment. I'd be more than happy to answer anything you have in mind or what you have. If you want me to show you things, I'd be more than happy to show you things as well. Go ahead and just leave some ideas in the comments. As far as the P3 Alpha tank, I'm going to be exploring this thing and seeing what else I can do to add into my workouts to see what imagination I can come up with. Once again, I did say that these holes fit with all the other accessories that are out there for the standard power cage setups. So it's actually really, really cool to be able to do those kind of things. I have some other things from Major Fitness that I'm pretty sure I could slap on here, such as lever arms, and that way I can take advantage of the full workout. I love the dips. The dip stations are great with the 2 handles there. I get a really nice, deep, clean push. I can feel the bottom of my pecs and my triceps getting a great workout. So, thanks again for watching. I appreciate it. Until next time, John the Pilot. See ya.